the level was still resistant to the price. So this is what we call a breakout momentum. Welcome to another video tutorial. Today we are going to learn about support and resistance. We are going to divide it into a series. We shall have 4 to 5 or 6 series. We shall start from what we call the beginner level to an experienced level where you can trade support and resistance as an expert. So to get started, first of all, what is support and resistance? So previously we said when price is moving, it moves making high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs. And the same thing applies in a downtrend. It moves making lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower lows. Then in a ranging market, we have again price making highs, lows, highs, lows. Where price rests from, let's say this price was here and it started moving to go up, we shall call this a support level. This one becomes our support because that's where price started from to go up. So we call it a support. And where price came and rested from at this level, we shall call this resistance because price was moving up. Buyers were in control and later on price failed to break above. It found rest at this level. So we say this is a resistance level. We shall call it resistance. So this one becomes our resistance. This level where price came and rested from becomes our resistance. So the same thing applies when price break above of this resistance to give us a higher high, because we have a strong breakout here. If you remember what we learned about breakout momentum, this breakout here, if you remember breakout momentum, or break of structure, we say this breakout move here, we broke above resistance. Now, because we broke above this resistance, we got another level where price rested, and this is the level where price found rest, this level. This becomes, because price rested here before reversing, we shall call that as well resistance. Shall call it resistance. Then price moved from that point of resting and it dropped down here. So when price comes and finds rest at this level, we say this is support. This is support because it is coming down and this previous resistance becomes support. So we shall say this is our support. So this becomes the new support level. And also this was our support, this level here, where price rested at before going up. It was also support. It also becomes a support level. We are looking at support and resistance. So price started here and went up. It rested where it pulled back. So this becomes resistance, and after resting, after pulling back at this point, it becomes support. So we saw a strong move that went and broke the resistance. So when price breaks this resistance level here, we call that a breakout momentum. This is called a breakout momentum. The same level here, we see it acted as resistance. This becomes resistance. Then price dropped back to this resistance. So this becomes support for price to move up. That is support and resistance in an uptrend. Then in a downtrend, it is also the same thing. We are seeing price comes and drops down. This price drops. It is moving from up. Let's say where price stopped here. This is our resistance level here. This will be our resistance. For an uptrend, this becomes resistance. And for the case of a downtrend, it's going to be support. This will become a support level. So price drops from this support level here. They come and find rest at this level, this one. So where price comes and finds rest, we call that resistance. We shall call it resistance. So this is our resistance. And then price rallies up, and as it is trying to go up this side, it also encounters a level that is stopping it from going up, going further. So this one, we call it support. So this support level is forcing this market to continue going down. Price came from up and came up to this level. So when price came to this resistance level, it got resisted because it did not continue going down. Instead, it found rest at this level. So this one becomes resistance. We are in a downtrend, this becomes resistance. Why price was resisted from going down? Instead, it was stopped at this level. We then have price move from this point to pull back. So when price pulls back, it is getting support. It finds support to move lower, for price to move lower. So this support is the one that pushes price further down in a downtrend. Then when price breaks this level, we call this a breakout, or if you remember, break of structure. So this one, we call it a breakout momentum. Breakout momentum. which tells you price is in a strong moving downtrend. This is called breakout momentum. If you remember break of structure, and if you don't remember, kindly go and watch the video we had at last. If I remember, I'll put it here. So that one is called breakout momentum or break of structure. So you have this move that comes and breaks down, but later on price finds resistance because it would have continued up here, but instead it comes and finds a resistance where it rests. So when this price rests at this point, we call this resistance because it rested at that point. So we shall call this resistance. When it rests, it has to pull back, and as it is pulling back, we find it is going to encounter a support. This becomes support. So we see again here, price comes and finds this as support. And once it finds that level as support, it continues. It gets momentum. It gets momentum to trade from there up, down, this side. Where price breaks this resistance and it gives you what we call a breakout momentum. This is a breakout momentum because sellers are strong, so they pushed price past the previous resistance level, and because they got support from this price area or zone, they were able to break past the previous resistance level. So we call this a breakout momentum. So the same thing, price comes and finds rest at this level. So you see the previous support now becomes our resistance. So this is where price finds rest at this point. This becomes resistance. Then the same thing applies to a ranging market. We shall say this is our resistance. Price is at resistance here, and then price comes to this level. We shall call this a support level. This becomes our support level, and when price goes back to the same level up, this becomes another resistance level. And when it comes back down to the same point here, this here price finds support. It is going to find support to go to trade back in the same level. So that's how price keeps playing around in a ranging market. We said support and resistance. If you remember, if you don't remember, go back and watch that video to find out how price moves in a ranging market. So the same thing, price will find support here and it will again push back. This is support. Price finds support and it again trades back. So this is starting simple. This is starting simple. I repeat, this price started here and it gave us a support level. So where price started from here, we shall call it a support level. Then we see price traded up. This price traded from here, coming up, this, giving you this move. Later on, it encountered some opposite force that stopped price from going further up. Instead, it rested here. at this point. We shall call this resistance. We shall call this a resistance level. Resistance. Let me give it red. So we call this resistance. Now, when price is resisted from going up, once price is resisted from continuing up, it drops down. It drops. It comes back down to find support such that it can further continue going up. Now, when this price comes to find the support level here, this one, it gets support at this point and continue to trade above. Once this price breaks this resistance and it forms another level, let's say it finds rest at this level here, we shall call this resistance. We shall call it resistance. And because price broke the previous resistance level, this previous resistance level was broken. So we are going to call this a breakout momentum. If you remember breakout structure, so we shall call this breakout momentum. This tells you that price is in a strong moving uptrend. So this one, we shall call it a breakout momentum. This point where price, this entire move, the entire move that goes and breaks, if you remember, impulsive moves and pullbacks. So this breakout move is what we call a breakout move, breakout momentum, telling you they are willing to push price higher. Now, when price goes higher, it is going to encounter it encounters a resistance at this point. So this resistance here is going to push price lower. But because there is this previous support, this previous resistance level, now here we say this is support. We shall say resistance turn to support. Resistance turn to support. So this becomes a resistance level turned to support here. This one, resistance turns to support. So this becomes a support level. It becomes a support level here. Because previously it was resistance and now it becomes a support level here. Then the same, so when this price gets support, it pushes higher. And when we break above this previous resistance, we call this a breakout momentum. Breakout momentum, which tells you buyers are strong. So once price breaks above, we shall call it a breakout momentum. That one, breakout momentum. This is a breakout momentum. If price breaks the previous level, it can be, for this case, price breaks the previous resistance, it shows heavy bullish momentum because you need a strong momentum to break this level. Then it comes and encounters resistance here where price breaks. Now let's say this is resistance, and the same thing that happened here, it also occurs in a downtrend. If this is uptrend, the same thing is going to occur in a downtrend. This is downtrend, down. So for this downtrend here, this one, this level will act as this level. We are going to have it act as support, the same price level where the market is at here. This level becomes support because that's where price started from. So we're going to see this resistance become support in a downtrend. This will be our support level. The resistance level will now become the support. Price starts from here and it comes down, it sells. So we are here, this is a downtrend. Price moves from the support level, it comes and encounters a resistance here. This is the resistance. This can be a price level. This one, it can be a price level. This price level here, where price comes and instead of price continuing down, it finds support, it finds resistance, it gets resisted at this point. So this becomes resistance. This is resistance. So when price is resisted at this point, it is going to trade back, but it may not really trade back up to this level. Yes, it can, but we don't want to see price trade into this level. Why? Because there is a lot of selling presence. So this level is going to act as support again. It will find a support level. This one, it encounters, it is going to find a level and it will use it as support to continue pushing down this support level. It forces price to continue pushing down. Then as price is pushing down, this level, when price breaks the level, this resistance, because sellers are strong and they push price lower, we shall say there is a heavy bearish momentum. Heavy bearish momentum. Heavy bearish momentum. So you want to trade with such a momentum that is moving and breaking these resistance levels. So we say once price breaks this level, this move is a heavy breakout momentum. If you remember break of structure, if you don't remember, go and watch the previous video. So this heavy bearish momentum, you want to trade with this momentum because there is a strong selling presence that is breaking levels or zones or areas. So you want to trade with it. Now, when this price comes again here, this price would have continued down. Let's say you can have price continue down, but it doesn't. Instead, it finds rest at this point. But because it found rest at this point, now this becomes resistance. It becomes resistance and we mark it as a resistance level. So this resistance is going to resist price from further going down. And when price is resisted from further going down, it is forced to pull back to go and find support, to go and find this support. So this support you're seeing here, this support is what forces price to further trade and go down, to further trade and continue going lower and lower. So you will see price get support at this level and continue to push lower. When there is a lot of momentum in the market, we shall see price come and break this resistance level that resisted it in the past and create a new resistance level. So if we mark this level, this resistance, this becomes our resistance level. This one, this is resistance. Since this move was able to break this resistance level and it created a new lower low, this breakout here, we call it this move because it broke this resistance and it gave us a lower low. We shall call it a heavy bearish momentum. So it tells us that there is a strong selling presence in the market. That's why price is breaking these lows. So it again comes and finds rest at this point because we would expect this price to continue lower and lower. So this we call it a resistance. The same thing applies to a ranging market. You have price trading. Price is from uptrend. Now, when it comes down, this is resistance. When it comes, it finds support and it trades away, going up. Then it also comes from up because this level of resistance, once price reaches here, it trades away and drops down. It comes and encounters support here, it trades up. It again comes and encounters resistance level here where it trades down. It trades down. So support, price is forced to go back. Resistance, it is forced to trade lower. So this is in a ranging market. So in ranging markets, price will always move through resistance and support. So that was starting simple. Let's go to the charts. So I'm on a Euro US dollar chart. So at one point, price was here. Here we see this price was moving, going up. Price was trending up. It found resistance. If I mark this level here, this becomes our resistance. So this price was moving up. It came and found resistance at this level. It found rest at this resistance level marked. Then after that, it traded lower. Price did not come up to this level or this level. Instead, it came and stopped at this point, creating what we call a support. This is a support where it gains strength. Here, it gains strength. And because this is support, it traded back into this level, this one. So this became our resistance. This is resistance. So price kept trading within this resistance and resistance. We see here price found this resistance and it sold back into the same support level. This is support. Let me give this different color. So this is support. The same asset traded higher, finding resistance. The level was still resistant to the price. Later on, we see price breaking above this one. If you remember, breakout momentum. So this is what we call a breakout momentum. Breakout momentum. Why? Because for price to be able to break such levels, we need strong buying presence. Price was in this level, was in this zone for a long period of time, pushing higher, dropping, pushing higher, dropping. Price got resisted in this level multiple times. And later on, you have a move that breaks above. It breaks above this previous resistance. When price breaks above a resistance level with a huge bullish or bearish momentum, so this is a huge bullish momentum, we say this is a break of structure, or we say this is a heavy breakout momentum. So here we see price gave us a breakout momentum. So meaning we are in a heavy bullish momentum or heavy bullish market. So we are in a heavy bullish market. I repeat, price got support here and it broke above this resistance level, giving us a breakout momentum. So when price breaks a resistance level that has been held multiple times, we say this is a strong breakout, or you are in a heavy bullish momentum for an uptrend. Then here we see price came and traded higher, it found another zone. Let me use this and this. Okay, so let's use a zone this time. So price came and traded at this point. Yeah. So this price came and found resistance, because we said price is trading higher and higher, but later on it came and encountered another resistance level here, this one. Price rested at this point. Why? We would expect this price to continue trading higher and higher, but instead it found resistance at this point. Now when price found resistance here, it was forced to trade lower. Price traded lower to this level here. Now here, if you look this side, this was previously resistance, and we shall say here resistance turned to support. Resistance turned support. So the previous level that resisted, let's give this a different color to understand better. So this level here that resisted price in the past, this was resistance. Resistance turned to support. This price is turned into support here. This is resistance turned to support. Now this price is being forced to trade back into the same level. As you can see, price came into the same level and again found resistance. This is resistance. So it got resisted at this point. We say price was resisted here, and it continued to trade lower back into the same resistance turned to support, this one here. So we have resistance turned to support. So this price got resistance at this point, and then it traded lower. So this was a resistance which turned to support to push this price this side. It again comes into the same resistance level. Now, because price failed to break above, so we say this price failed to break above here. Instead, it got resisted as it was trying to go up. It faced resistance and it pushed lower. So when price trades lower here, we shall say this level here. And because we broke this support, remember previously it was resistance here, but it came and became support, which forced the market to trade higher. We traded higher back into this zone you're seeing, before we got resisted and traded lower past the previous support. This support here, we traded below it and we created another level down here, this one. And because we traded below this support level now, and we have this move down, so this one is called a heavy breakout momentum. So we shall say we are in a heavy bearish momentum. So this one shows us we're in heavy bearish momentum. This move that broke this support, because previously it was resistance, it turned into support. Now we are using it as a support level. Later on, price breaks lower and it finds this level here. So if you look at this level, this one becomes our resistance because this is support. So we shall have this acting as resistance. So we have resistance here. So this level acted as support. Price broke below it. Now this support will become resistance again. So this is resistance. So we mark our resistance here. So it becomes resistance again. And this becomes support because we are in a downtrend. Support here. This is support. Resistance. This is resistance. Why? Because this price was supported up. We broke below it. It now becomes resistant to price. Why? Because this price, we would expect this price to trade from here to go higher, but instead it finds this resistance level and it continues to sell lower. So that's why we are saying this would expect it to go higher, but because we already know the direction of the market after this heavy bearish momentum, so this price is rejected here and we push lower. So meaning this becomes resistance. this one becomes resistance. So we say here, this support becomes resistance. So we shall say support becomes resistance here at this point. So this is support becoming resistance, this one. And we see price trades lower here. Then the same price comes and finds support here. I mean resistance. This one, it comes and finds, this was resistance. So when it comes here, this becomes support. This becomes support. So we have our support here. Support here. And you see price came into this support level. It got rejected. It continued to trade, breaking above this resistance level here. Breaking above this resistance level. Here we have a breakout. So this resistance level here now became support again here. So we have support here, and price again went up, forming. Price went back to this resistance level. Now you see this level is always resistant to price. Have this level resisting price, that each time price comes into this level, it sells strongly. So price sells below here, breaking this level that has acted as support. So once price breaks below it, it becomes resistant to price. So it becomes resistance again, and then price traded lower and lower and lower, creating other support levels and resistance. So we see price here comes and finds resistance. So this is support and resistance.